And they're just in behind him, so too Russell Ingall. Look at them climbing the curbs. It's a real freight train. Paul Radicic, Jason Barbagallo, Stephen Johnson's up there, so too Tony Longhurst and Paul Morris as they stream through Cat Corner. And Tander leads the field.
Yeah, just an indication of his improved form. Garth Tander, when he came here last year, he qualified 11th and finished 13th overall after the round. Well, he's been on fire in qualifying, third fastest behind the Local Holt Racing Team cars, and now he finds himself leading the battle for third. Much improved performance from the youngster.
Up in front, of course, Lowndes and Scaife continue to hold stay. This is the battle for third. John Bowers had a moment there, coming across the top.
I think he's got more than a moment.
Yeah, he's got smoke billowing from the back of the car. He's had some sort of mechanical failure. He pulls off the racing line, so that's a big disappointment for the Caterpillar team. What do you think the problem is there, Dick?
Well, it looks like there's obviously a fair bit of smoke coming from under the front of the car somewhere. It certainly doesn't look as though it's lost a lot of power, but I would suggest it's a sufficiently large enough problem where I think you'll find John will come into the pits.
So John Bow stays right off the racing line, probably pumping out a little bit of oil. The dramas, big battles up and down through the pack, but the lead remains the same. 3.5 seconds.
Rodney Forbes.
Yeah.
Now he's had a moment there, just coming on to the start, finish straight in the Wins Racing Commodore. So no luck for young Rodney. And John Bow.
Great disappointment. The bonnet goes up. That's never a good sign. Any race, but particularly in a sprint round, you've got no chance then.
Well, certainly the way the race format is, he's got to start down the back of the grid next. So, you know, he's got his work cut out from down there, let me tell you.
3.5 seconds the gap that Lowndes and Scaife have opened up over Garth Tander. So the Holden Racing team really monstering the opposition here in the opening heat. There it is, 3.56 seconds the gap. And Lowndes heading for a record 10th race win in a row if he can hold out his teammate.
Plenty of damage there. We saw a moment ago to Cameron McConville's Auto Pro Commodore, the Rod Nash Racing entry, so he's been in the wars early. Look at this, Mark Larkham fighting off a challenge from Paul Radicic as they work into Cat Corner. So Larkham now playing defensive. Ingall's gotten around him, and Tander retains the lead, if you like, in this battle for third place. He's been ahead in this battle for third for some time, because in the distance the two Holden Racing Team Commodores continue to gallop away.
Well, while the fight goes on for these minor placings, the other guys have just been able to settle down and go and get out and go for it.
There's a closer look at what happened to Rodney Forbes there, just coming on to the start finish straight. Dick, talk us through this.
Well, he obviously gets in there and has obviously locked his rear brakes up, and like when you lock the rear brakes, you really it just pivots around the radiator drain plugged in.
They look like stuck in the sand. John Bow apparently back in the race. Steering fluid leak onto the exhaust system, maybe something in the engine pumping out a lot of oil. Apparently they've plugged that gap, so let's hope John Bow can continue without any more mechanical problems.
See, Ingall's got around Mark Larkham, and now he's sort of coming up on the back of Tander, so this could be fairly interesting.
Dick, when you've got 19 cars covered by a second in qualifying, I mean, the opportunities to pass must be so difficult. Is it just a game of intimidation? You've got to fill up the mirrors of the car in front and try and make a mistake.
Well, you've got to be able to drive quick enough so the guys behind don't exactly run over the top of you, because when they get that close, you start to really sort of press on like Mark is there, and you lock a wheel, you flat spot a tyre, and all you can do is hear this tyre flapping going down the straight. You think to yourself, well, boy, is it going to go bang, or what's going to happen? Because it's not a good feeling either.
3.6 seconds the gap. Holden Racing team have opened up 1/10 of a second over Tander as he holds up this freight train behind him. This battle for third involves a number of top cars. Lowndes a 58.91. Scaife 58.8. Tander a 59. So this is what you said, Dick Johnson, before the race. You're probably going to see the race pace slip out and go a little bit slower.
As they work through Cold Corner.
Well, it certainly looks as though Mark's using fourth gear through there, being down around 5,000 RPM. We'll go up to fifth gear now and sort of run over the top of the hill. So that corner is just so important. It looks like he's covering his line here because somebody's having a shot at him, which would probably be the rat, I'd say. start-finish line down the turn.
Yeah.
Paul's just got underneath him, and when you get underneath somebody like that, you've got to be very careful that you don't actually get to a point where you understeer yourself off the road and get retaken.
But you can see that he was moving over to take a conservative line as he braked down toward pit straight. Because Radicic was applying the blowtorch behind him. He got through too, so Radicic moves up another position and puts him up to fifth. Behind that quartet of Commodores, Lowndes, Scape, Tander and Ingle up ahead of him.
He's now coming on.
Having a go down the inside here on Larkham into Cold Corner, and Barks is through. So in the space of half a lap, Larkham has fallen back 2 places.
He's obviously, his tyres are obviously starting to get soft on the back, because that's the problem. Your actual car setup is so important here.
Let's have a look at the Shell Helix replay, this passing move. Talk us through this, Dick.
Well, Mark got himself up on the curve there and lost a bit of speed coming out of the turn, which allowed Paul to sort of duck down inside him, and now Tander's looking at having a shot here, but he's too far behind.
In terms of a race pace now, most of the drivers into the 59s. Lowndes a 59.32 last time around. Scape a 59.16. They are 1 and 2 on the road here at Barbagallo at the moment. Garth Tander in 3rd place, Russell Ingle in 4th. But Craig Lowndes is holding stay at the moment.
Look at the gap they've opened up on the Valvoline car, though. 4 seconds. The whole racing team really rubbing their noses in it at the moment.
Let's take a look at them for you. We've had a
Steve Reed.
Trevor Ashby, I think, has gone off. And Donaher taking evasive action there in the TDK Ultra-Tuned Commodore. Craig Lowndes, top of things from Mark Scape. Garth Tander in 3rd at the moment. Russell Ingle in 4th. Paul Radicic, Jason Barguana, Mark Larkham in 7th. Stephen Johnson 8th. Tony Longhurst 9th. Paul Morris 10th. Can Craig Lowndes retain the lead and go on to win 10 races from 10 starts here at Barbagallo? Welcome back to Barbagallo Raceway. The Holden Racing Team 1 and 2 at the moment in race 1 of round 2 of the Shell Championship Series. Lowndes leads from Mark Scape. Hard luck for John Bowe. He's in pit lane, and the word is he will be out for the rest of this race. So some sort of mechanical problem for the Cat team, and Bowie undoing the seatbelts.
Yep, never a nice sign. Caterpillar 14, big disappointment for John Bowe. But this is amazing. 4.3 seconds. They're pumping the lead out every lap by several tenths of a second. Just showing the dominance of the factory Holdens at Barbagallo Raceway. But the big interest here is can Scape topple his teammate, because Lowndes is on a roll. 9 race wins in a row. Never been beaten in a V8 Supercar at Barbagallo Raceway. Can Scape break that this afternoon? Apparently power steering problems persisting with the Caterpillar Ford. We just hear from the pits, so time to put it back in the garage to see if they can fix it for Heat 2.
Dick, we're on lap 13 of 20. We can see as they come down the hill here how big the gap is between Scape to Garth Tander. What can Garth do about trying to reel these guys in?
Well, the thing is that Garth is not exactly being attacked from behind, so he really has a clear track, but those guys in front are just stroking their cars along to get to the finish, so I don't think he can do an awful lot about it at this point in time.
Look back through the field for you. Mark Larkham coming under pressure now from Stephen Johnson. Tony Longhurst in the Caltex Haviline Ford. There's Paul Morris in the big Kev Commodore. So a bit of a train building up behind the Mitre 10 car. You're looking back from behind Mark Larkham. This is roughly what he's seeing in his rearview mirror.
Oh, no. Problems there. Baird's gone off. So too John Faulkner in the Asia Online Commodore. Now Baird is parked precariously there on the exit of Cat Corner, trying to make his way towards the S's. That's where Trevor Ashby's gone off as well. And
that's a very similar position to that very car was 12 or 18 months ago when it was here.
Don't remind them.
The poor thing.
Baird very exposed there, the outside of the circuit. We've seen a number of cars come off on that corner. Lap 14 of 20. So the Pertec Ford is stuck. Now, will we see safety car come out here?
It would be an interesting scenario.
Now the safety car, we've been told, has come onto the circuit. There it is.
So they consider that too dangerous, leaving those cars there. So the cars will come under formation behind the safety car. They'll clear up those wrecks before they return to green flag full racing conditions, which will allow Tander to close the gap right up on the Mobile Holden Racing Team duo. Monroe's safety car leads them around, lights flashing. Beautifully presented Commodore there.
I think this is just the break that Garth Tander really needed, and the same with Mark Scafe.
Exactly.
It's going to be a very interesting restart.
So talk us through what happened here, Dick.
Well, it looked as though he's gone underneath him, and then and Faulkner's obviously understeered out and shoved him off both of them off the road a bit. And they've gone to the beach for a while. Definitely a collision between the two cars there. Faulkner kept his foot into it though, managed to drive out of the sand. But Baird not so lucky. He got hooked up on the side of the track. Paul Romano on the Shell Helix replay. What happens here? Whoop. Oh, I don't think that's the B pillar. That's more like the C pillar. That's not in the rule book. I think Paul's going to be visiting a shed up the back.
Now, bear in mind, folks, that the first 5 laps of this safety car period do not count. There's Craig Baird.
Baird into the pits. We've got a problem here.
I would say it would be full of sand.
Got him out of the sand.
All right, we are away and racing once again. The safety car is off and we have a green light. Racing again at Barbagallo. Craig Lowndes remains in the lead. We have 6 laps remaining. 6 laps remaining in this one. In second place, Mark Scape, but things all closely bunched up. Look at Stephen Johnson giving Mark Larkham the hurry up as they exit Cat Turn. And the field streamed through the S's now.
That's what you call applying maximum pressure. Great shot on the Channel 10 cameras there right in. You could just see the rear bumper of Larkham's car flexing under the pressure from Stephen Johnson saying, get a move on. We've got Tony Longhurst breathing there. My next Steve has a run down the inside. He's going to get him under brakes. Oh!
Steve had a look there and Larkham shut the door and Longhurst is looking for any sort of opportunity here. Look at Longhurst coming on the inside of Stephen Johnson now. They run up the hill, these two side by side. Longhurst has got the inside running. And some dirt and dust on the track. Paul Morris is in there as well. So too Cameron McLean. Down the hill, Longhurst has got Stephen Johnson. And now out after Mark Larkham.
What happens there, Dickie? Plenty of pressure coming down the hill.
Well, yeah, you know, Longhurst is doing this normal old trick of using every bit of the road, which is normal. With 5 laps to go, it's going to be a very interesting 5 laps.
Well, Garth Tander got a second win here right up behind car 2. Mark Scape, our pole position man. Lowndes is scampering away like a scalded cat as he tends to do. Now Scape has to contend with the Valvoline Cummins car. Only a few laps remaining in this heat 1. That safety car period has really opened it up.
Tander right in touch now with Mark Scape as we count down to the finish of race 1, round 2 of the Shell Championship Series. Lowndes has managed to pull clear of his teammate, but Scape is, well, under a lot of pressure from Tander. We hear that Craig Baird has rejoined the circuit. For our Kiwi viewers that are watching through TV1 in New Zealand, I'll be pleased about that. But look at Tander all over the back of Scape now as they work towards the start-finish straight. Once again, there's a shot of how Lowndes has pulled out. Have a look at this. Talk us through it, Dick. Stephen applying the thumb screws to Larko.
Well, I think Mark is obviously covering his line very well indeed. And when you go in low like that and you miss your run out of the corner, of course, Tony Longhurst has seen this all happening, so he actually... Well, yeah, okay. We'll pass on that one.
But he managed to back out of it okay. He's got a little bit of damage to the front left-hand corner of the Shell Helix Ford. He's powering on okay.
Russell Ingall getting a little tailing in the background. The Enforcer currently in 4th place and under a lot of pressure from Paul Radicic. So lots of things could happen as we work towards the finish of this one. Garth Tander, the 22-year-old, the kid from Western Australia who wants to do big things here this weekend in front of the hometown crowd. Can he get around Mark Scape? I don't think he's going to be able to challenge for the lead. Look at Tander. He's trying to make a move here. Radicic's playing defensive with Tander's teammate Jason Barguana, who sits back in 6th place at the moment. We have 3 laps remaining as they come across the start-finish line this time around.
Well, the key thing here too, Dick Johnson, I'm sure you'd be aware that how important it is to get those points, to keep those points coming in. And Tander sitting back there in 3rd position. Be nice to challenge for the lead, but a 3rd place is another big bag of points as he tries to build up a championship, potential championship winning performance.
Well, that's what winning championships is all about, is gathering points while you possibly can. It's all very nice to win races, but to win races and to win championships, you've got to keep finishing.
Garth Tander, very mature head on younger shoulders. He was a wild man when he came into V8, but he really has settled down under Gary Rogers' tutelage. And he is now a genuine championship contender in 2000. This is a bit further back. Longhurst just locking the brakes.
Well, that tyre will end up like a 50-cent piece, I reckon.
Yeah. As he approaches the fastest part of the track, 250 kilometres an hour, flat out in 6th gear as they approach this turn, this uphill braking section. There's Cameron McLean in behind the big Kev Commodore. Paul Morris, 2 laps remaining. You can see the field strung out behind there. All sorts of battles going right up and down the field in V8 Supercar racing, as we've come to know. Oh, Neil
Crompton there, and Mark Poole in the John Deere Racing Commodore battling away. Not a good weekend thus far for the Ford Tickford Racing operation. Seaton currently 16th, and Crompton languishing by his standards back in 21st at the moment. The field stream again through the S's. Larry Perkins in there, both the Kmart Racing Commodores. Our Bathurst winners, Greg Murphy, his teammate Stephen Richards in behind him. But out in front it is Craig Lowndes from Mark Scaife. Garth Tander sits in third place and throwing out a real challenge to Scaife.
What a way to celebrate his birthday this weekend. Larry Perkins and under fire.
Oh, under plenty of fire here too.
Murphy up the inside, so close you couldn't get a razor blade between them now. Who's going to win the sprint up the hill?
Well, once you get up the inside over there, I think she's all over Red Rover for Larry. And if he's not careful, he's going to lose another one.
Last blackboard being shown to our leader, Craig Lowndes. Will he go on to win his 10th V8 Supercar race from 10 starts? Look at this, though.
How close do you like it? Larry Perkins, the beat in the Kmart sandwich. He's coughing up in both directions.
He might be 50 years of age, but he certainly hasn't lost his...
His aggressive style, as he knows. Keen to hang on to that position. Here is your race leader, folks, and doing a terrific job. Craig Lowndes from teammate Mark Scaife. Holden Racing Team 1 and 2 on the road at the moment. A very consistent and level-headed performance once again from Garth Tander. He sits in third, and if he stays there, more valuable points in the bag.
Well, Dick, as you said earlier, there is a real art in qualifying and a real art in racing. It looks like Lowndes has got the edge on Scaife in race trim this time.
Well, he certainly has at this point in time, and when you see the times now, they're really starting to drop off, aren't they?
Yep.
For the final time, Craig Lowndes brings it down the hill. And look at this battle going on here. Radicic and Ingle. Oh, goodness me, there's a bit of contact there between Russell and look